Shalom, sugars. It's been a few days, and I want to come and check in on you. Um, there is such thing. Let me go back. I'm Kelly from Marriage with the McLeans. Y'all know who I am, and I know who you are, and I'm glad you joined us. My husband Will is the other part of this team. I have been out a couple days purposefully and intentionally to regroup, to regather, to see what the Lord wants to say, to see what He wants to do. Because the thing about it, and I think sometimes we can get so caught up in the metrics of things. This may be longer than 2 minutes today. We can get so caught up in the metrics of things, the stats and who's watching, who's not, that we forget that our calling is not based on that. What the Lord has inquired of us or asked us to do is not contingent upon who will respond, not on our part anyway. So I wanted to talk about making something a priority without making it an idol. What does that look like in your marriage? What does that look like in your daily life when something is prioritized, but you know the boundaries of its place? I think marriage is that as well. It's not just, you can't be your husband's everything and he can't be your everything, because where does Jesus sit in that? If one of you is saying, oh, you just my everything and I don't know what I would do without you. To me, that is not a compliment. It is a red flag. It is a huge red flag, because to me, that is saying, I'm insecure, and if you leave me, I'll die. That's not healthy. It's not healthy, and to an insecure person, it's flattering. But to a discerning person, to a praying person who has Jesus as priority, it's troubling, right? So why is it troubling, Kelly? Because everybody should, your husband should be your everything. Your husband should be your best friend. Your wife should be your best friend. Will has this thing now where he's like, yeah, we best friends. You're best friends, because he knows that I have other friends. Will is my best friend, but Will is not my only friend. If your husband or your wife is the only person in your life, you don't have any kind of outside relationships, you need to check that. Because who is gauging who? If that is the only person. Now, there are things that Will knows that I will not share with not even my best friend, right? My best girlfriend or my best sister in Christ. But there are things that I need to air out. There are other things that need to happen, that where I'm like, I got to pray through this, and I need a sister to help me pray through this, right? That is not a disadvantage. It is an advantage to yours to have multiple people that can walk you through godly counsel, because your husband or your wife is right up on you. They're limited in their vision, although they know you intimately. It is a huge red flag when you are their only thing and you are their everything, because Jesus has no place of lordship in that, because you have now replaced him as being everything. You are the answer to every problem. You solve everything, and you handicap your spouse by becoming their everything. There is no high level of accountability when that happens. So I wanted to talk to you about that this morning, because I think it's a discussion that needs to be had. I've seen it in marriages before, and I've seen those marriages fall apart, or I've seen them operate at a high level of dysfunction because nobody was willing to have the hard conversation. Hard conversations are mandatory in healthy marriages. Remember that. Hard conversations are mandatory in a healthy marriage. So if you're seeing these flags and you're like, I think that I've said that they're my everything. Will has rescued me. God has used him to rescue me out of so many thought processes and so many things. But guess who gets the glory? God gets the glory. Thank you for your obedience. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I'm going to show my appreciation. But glory only goes to God. So it's just a quick check for us to put a plumb line in there, right? To put that plumb line so that it can straighten things out to gauge where we are really in our marriages, to gauge where we are really with the Lord. Is he really Lord? So it's a question. It's a question. I want you to think about it. I want you to ask questions. I love questions, and people hate me for loving questions. I've always been like that since I was little. I love questions. My children were allowed to ask questions. My children would come with questions that I'd have to say, wait a minute, I got to get back with you. Or if I knew they weren't ready or mature enough to handle the answer, I'd be like, we can talk about it later, but thank you for asking me that question. You're not ready for it, but I'll give you a little bit just so you can rest. That's how you have to handle stuff like that. Ask questions and ask the Lord to reveal it in his time concerning what we just talked about. I'd love to know your thoughts. Is your spouse your everything? Or is Jesus really Lord? This is Kelly from Marriage with the McLynns. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. I'm really waiting to hear and to have this discussion. Love you. Shalom.